The city of Houston has always had a significant impact in my life. See, my parents and I immigrated here from Athens, Greece, when I was 3 years old. And no, Paul and I never knew each other and did not know that we had these topics. So we came to America the very month that the astronauts would land on the moon. We came in July of 1969. My dad excitedly bought a little house. And in that little house, we slept on the floor and we sat on crates because every penny he had, he saved to buy a black and white television that he very lovingly sat on a little rickety cart with brass legs and little wheels, and if you are my age, you might remember those. And he placed it in the most prominent place of the house, the first room you walked into. And on July 20th, 1969, Mom, Dad, and I sat on crates, eating fried chicken for the very first time in our lives, and watched the astronauts land on the moon. It was awesome. We celebrated this amazing, amazing event. And we celebrated that we had just moved to the country, not just the country, the city that was all taking place, Houston, Texas. As a 3-year-old, the significance kind of didn't weigh as excitedly on me as my parents. But up to this day, astronauts are my heroes. I read about them. I read interviews that they give. I want to learn what they know about courage, about leadership, and just about going out there and doing the impossible. Well, I grew up and I moved away from Houston, got married, and lived in Colorado. Got a job. But I had a dream, I had a goal, and my goal was to one day be elected as a U.S. Senator in the United States of America. So, I did what I was supposed to do. I volunteered, I got involved, and 4 years later, I got a phone call. Leah, your name is on the short list. Your state senator has just stepped down to run for another office, and we have a vacancy. You are one of 3 people being considered to be a state senator. I would have been the youngest female state senator in Colorado history. I was on my way. And then the phone rang, and Houston called. Yeah. There was a company in Houston that had been courting my husband and made him a job offer that we both decided together he couldn't refuse. So we packed up and moved to Houston. And with that move, my dreams of ever being a state senator or any other senator pretty much died. We lived here a few years, and then we moved to Austin, Texas, where we've been most of our lives. And about 5 years ago, when I was in Austin, I started a consulting business. I loved helping people do speaking and presentations, and it was just getting to the point where I wasn't having to work as hard. It was getting to the point where, like that cusp, when now it's going to be dynamic and I'm actually have name recognition and people are actually calling me for business. And then the phone rang again. And you know who it was? It was Houston. Houston was calling again. And almost like before, there was a call. My husband's company wanted him to take a position, a great promotion, to run a different division. But he had to be at corporate, and guess where corporate was? Houston. And so after much prayer and discussion, we did decide it was the right thing for our family. And so we packed up the car, came up I-10, and 2 years ago this month, we landed in Houston. And my consulting company is kind of in a coma. You know that movie, Apollo 13, where Tom Hanks plays the astronaut Lovell? You remember when the oxygen tank explodes in the film and he radios into Houston Command? You know the little phrase he says that we all use? My personal motto now, you want to say it with me? Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, and this was now personal between me and Houston. But I didn't just stop there. I took it one step further. Houston, you are the problem.